Welcome to Slasher Sunday. We're just going to elongate that for no reason at all. Now, on my Patreon, I had asked a bunch of people what they would like me to cover for Slasher Sunday, Monster Monday, and I got a bunch of recommendations. And Paz Nicholson told me to do the Toolbox murders, the 1978 one. 78, right? I think that's what it is. And then Guillermo Canales sent me 49 films in the mail. I'm sure you guys probably saw that live video by now. And in it, he sent me the 2004 Toolbox Murders. And so I was like, well, I don't have the 78 version, so I guess this is just going to have to suffice for now. And maybe I can get to the original eventually. But I have never seen this one. And this one is directed by Mr. Tobe Hooper himself. I know it's Tobe, but that's kind of a running joke. But yeah, it's right. I have to say this. Okay, A, I don't think this movie is very good at all, and B, I think that Tobe Hooper is definitely one of the most overpraised directors in the genre. Like, he's made a lot of shit. He's made some cool stuff, for sure, but I don't know. The guy just hasn't made enough cool stuff for me personally. I know people love like the Funhouse. Not a big fan of that. Um, Poltergeist is that movie that I'm very much on the side of that Steven Spielberg mostly directed that film, so I'm not really apt to give him the credit there. Um, I don't know. I looking through his career and looking at some of the things that he did, I'm just like, dude, these aren't good movies. And this is just one of them. This is so cheap. This is so poorly done. You've got Angela Bettison here as the lead, and you even get an opening. The opening kill, the opening girl is Sherry Moon Zombie. I was shocked to see that because I don't know of any movie I've ever seen her in outside of a zombie film. I didn't realize that until I saw her here, and I was like, wait a minute. Is this the first time I've ever seen Sherry outside of it? Maybe. I'm like 50-50 on that. I'm going to have to look up her filmography and see if I've seen anything else with her. Um, and this also has a sequel, this is a remake, and this has a sequel, and that one has some really shitty reviews on IMDb. I don't know why I honestly go there. I can't help myself for some damn reason. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen this, and I haven't seen the original, so I haven't seen any of the Toolbox movies. But so far, we're 0 for 1. This is not a good start, so I am not, like, anxious to get to the sequel or the original. It's just not something that's interesting me. But maybe that's unfair. Maybe the original is rad, and I should check it out. But the way this film looks is cheap as shit. It just doesn't look good. That's a huge problem when you have somebody who made the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and fucking Poltergeist and, like, I don't know, man. Someone with this high name, like high profile name like this, I just feel like should never make films that look this shitty. Like, there's just an expectation that's gonna come. Now, maybe he just couldn't get the funding, and he was like, "Hey, I wanted to make a movie, and I want to do it in my own way." Maybe studios were offering money. He's like, "No, I'm an artist. I want to do it the way I want to do it, and fuck it, I can respect that." I just, man, the look of your film is so important. It's not everything though. I've said in the past, there's definitely been movies like an Absentia or something that are not good looking movies, but the director and the writers had so much talent that you could look past, maybe not such a well lit shot or maybe even some audio issues or something, as long as the story is strong enough. you can look past technical issues, but your movie has to be fantastic for you to look past that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, this movie's not, so it's just kind of, it's adding to how much I'm not enjoying watching this movie. So Cheryl Moon gets herself killed in the beginning, and this just kind of sets a precedence for the rest of the film that all the kills, for the most part, are going to be lame as fuck. It's a total cutaway. The only good part about it is it's a hammer kill because he uses something from a toolbox. Wow. And he takes the claw apart and he's like putting it into her head. We see this off. We don't see this because it's off screen. But we do see him pull the hammer up, and he has like a chunk of her hair and like blood in it. So that's cool to see, like, you know, pieces of her head stuck to the hammer when he pulls it back into frame. But that's still not going to make up from you completely cutting away from the kill. Just not for me. It would be forgivable if most of the rest of the kills were shown, but they're just not, and it's lame. So they're moving into this new place, and the dude who's showing them around is trying to like sell them on the joint because she hates it, and he's like, "Oh, we have all the modern amenities like an elevator," and I'm like, "Oh, you guys have running water and electricity too?" Like, I think that was supposed to be a joke in the movie or by him. I'm not honestly sure. We got the modern amenities like an elevator. An elevator. Woo! Those just came on the scene. Those shits are rare. Wow, high class. This place is a shithole. And it's hilarious because it's like clearly like a scummy place. You know, the people who live in the building and all that are just, they don't look like they have any money. You know, there's, it's not a nice apartment complex. Let's say that for damn sure. But somehow they still have like a doorman. Like they have like a bellhop essentially down there. I thought that was pretty funny. And I also thought it was funny that it was the guy who was in Cobra, who was also in Maniac Cop 2, and I was just talking about him. And I was like, this guy just gets typecasted as a robber. Well, in this one, he's a doorman. And you're just a doorman. So, I guess he doesn't just get cast in those roles. I sit corrected. And so yeah, since this was in 2004, you've got some shaky technology in your film that's never gonna age well, but this kid is like spying on his neighbor somehow, and what's interesting is that kid is the kid who plays Judith Meyer's boyfriend in the Rob Zombie Halloween. So him and Sherry Moon have worked together, so I don't know if they like know the same people and that's how they both got roles on it or whatever. But yeah, and this is actually before, actually this would, maybe she brought him, that would make sense. She met him on this set and she brought him over because Halloween wasn't made till 2007. This is 2004. It's a Tobe Hooper film and Sherry Moon Zombie's there, so yeah, she's gonna listen. He's gonna listen to her and what Tobe is doing for sure. So bringing this kid on makes sense. But he's in there, he's watching her heavily blurred, pixelated fucking imagery. And you're like, you can't even make out a tit. That being said, I know I've brought this up on the channel a lot, but my friends and I used to throw on like the X-rated channel that was blurred, and we would just sit there and watch it and like talk and have fun, and then boobs would come on the screen for like half a second. We'd be like, oh my god. So if we would do that, a kid would definitely watch some pixelated fucking image of a webcam that he's creepily planted into his neighbor's room. And his mom and his dad find out about this, and while they are miffed, they don't seem to be that upset that their son is a straight up peeping Tom, and completely going against this girl's privacy. I mean, putting a camera in her bedroom, dude, that is some weirdo shit. That's like serial killer shit. You don't put cameras in people's bedrooms or anywhere without their consent. That's insane. That's like, It's like next level creeper. So that kid is not to be trusted. And even when Angela Bettis goes and confronts him, she's like, I don't care. I just want to see the footage. Now, I think this is just a ploy. She very much does care and is like, you're a little fucking creep. And if it wasn't under these circumstances, she'd be going over there to be like, you need to fucking get in there, get that camera, and then, like, turn yourself into the police. Because this is not okay. But yeah, anyway. So, you know, this is an apartment complex that's got, or whatever you want to call this, that has some very loud, uh, you know, residents in the building. And so she calls the cops multiple times in this. And of course, they're telling her that she's crazy. As they always fucking do in these movies, right? This is what we're always doing. It's always, we call the cops, we call the cops again, then they're like, don't ever call us again, you crazy bitch. This is just so overdone. Then she finds teeth buried in the wall, which was kind of cool, you know, kind of reminded me of when Heather and Mike wake up and then they go outside the tent and they find Josh's teeth in that little bundle in Blair Witch. Yeah, finding human's teeth, adult human teeth like that in your wall in a little tin like that would definitely be creepy. So that was all right. And let's see. So she like so the girl next door to her is constantly having a fight with his douchebag pussy ass looking boyfriend. And then she gets taken, and her kill is lame as shit. She gets like a nail in the throat or something. It's stupid. But then it cuts back to her, and she's nailed because the cops come in and they're looking around and they can't find her. And then we pan up, and she's nailed to like the corner of the roof, like where the corners meet from the wall to the roof. She's just nailed up there, and it looks awesome. That is the coolest shot in this movie. It's the coolest thing in this movie is her being nailed up there. Although when the killer was shooting at her with the nail gun and he was just hitting her robes and like outlining her, am I supposed to take that seriously? Someone can like nail exactly where they want to hit from like 20 feet away as she's moving around. Come on. That's just silliness. That's just pure silliness. But whatever. But when she is nailed up there, she is still alive. So she opens up her mouth, or her eyes. Do we ever get confirmation she dies? For sure? Can't remember. Did he go back and kill her, or did we get... I don't think we ever did. So, I think if I'm remembered correctly, she could definitely still be alive. It's 3 a.m. Jesus Christ. I always try to get these done earlier. I know. I gotta stop making that excuse, but it's true, guys. This week at work was fucking insanity. I was there for like 12 hours a day, no exaggeration, with no food, no break, no nothing. It was nuts. I'm my own boss. Don't get down on my job. Don't be like, oh, they need to give you a break. It was me, okay? The only person that should be, fired is me for making me work for 12 hours. So don't feel too sorry for me. I could have said no, but you need the money. Christmas is coming up, and I got 2 little babies that are expecting some cool shit, which is already in the mail. And the whole like Angela Bettis relationship thing with her husband being at work as a doctor and leaving her there alone is not explored on enough, nowhere near enough. They don't have enough relationship drama in their world. And in addition to that, the friend that she makes, who ends up dying in the next scene, so they become BFFs, and then in the next scene, the girl's dead. It's just way too short-lived, and then she like divulges to her father just died, and it's supposed to be like this emotional connection, and it's just so forced. It's like, of course, okay, just dead parent, throw him in, why not? we're going for the sympathy angle here. We're not going to earn it at all. We're not going to explore it. We're not going to actually like see why her dad was important to her and what it was like, or like how it's going to play into the story at all. Or I guess it's just supposed to show us our headspace, right? It's supposed to get the fuck out of here. It's a cheap attempt at trying to elicit a an emotional response from us. And I don't know, it felt forced as hell. And Angela Bassett is a good actress, and the girl who's acting in the scene with her is fine as well. So it's not them. It's just, it feels like dialogue that was inserted for us to feel for the character, but it's just not earned for me. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't service the story or the character at all. Like, oh, she's dealing with a lot right now. But that's not brought into question later. Like, oh, maybe you're just grieving the loss of your dad, and no, I'm not, and you don't know, whatever. I don't know. The whole dead dad thing just annoyed me. Just rubbed me the wrong way. But maybe I'm just being nitpicky. Probably am. Now, I know residents definitely have medical debt and really don't have the money, but it's pretty sad when you see like a doctor at the hospital drive home to some shithole like this. It's pretty wild. And when she the dumbest part of the movie for me, for sure, is when Angela Bettis goes downstairs because this old dude leaves her a note that says, like, look for room 504. She's in room 504, I think is what it was. She goes and she tries to investigate, and she looks around and she sees that there's no 04 on any level. There's no 104, 204, 304. Like, that whole number is missing. And so she goes and talks to the building's superintendent and whatever the hell these guys are. Regardless, she goes over to him, and he's supposed to be the dude like running the place and showing everyone around, and then the other guy is supposed to be the maintenance dude that goes around and knows like every fucking place inside and out. And she's like, why is there no room 104, 204? Like, it's all missing all the way up. And he's just like, oh, you just have a very observant eye. No one's ever noticed that before. Bullshit. This is the most asinine piece of dialogue in this fucking film. A dude that's running that place and is literally like showing every fucking room in the joint at some point. He says he's been working there a long time. So he has never noticed that the rooms go in order. 101, 102, 103, 105, 202, 204, 205. You know what I mean? I'm supposed to believe that guy and the maintenance dude have never noticed that one of the rooms on each level is omitted and they all seem to match up. No fucking chance in hell that's real. No chance. None. Zero chance. Unless these guys are completely moronic to no end. There's no way you wouldn't notice that looking at those numbers all the time. It's just not possible. I do not see how that'd be possible. So I had to roll my eyes so hard when I saw that, or when I heard that line. That's just bad writing. To me, that's just bad writing. Like, oh, it's some big mystery. You're going to solve the mystery. Oh my God, there's a room that no one knew about? How did we never notice that there's no 04 on any level? Get the fuck out of here. That's shit writing is what that is. Anyway. And this dude gets half his head sawed off and then it falls onto the ground. That looks alright. That's not a bad one. And then the other dude, the Cobra doorman, gets his face melted off. He gets his head put in a vice, and his face has acid or something poured on it. That looks alright. And then he takes a bolt cutter to somebody's back, and he slips it in, and he snaps their spine. This could have been way more gruesome. You could have added a sound effect, and you could have had a reaction of the person as they like realize that their spine is snapped. Like, it just feels like nothing, and it should have felt so impactful. Even if it's not really that graphic of a scene, the implications should hit way harder. So, a total missed opportunity there. So lame. The old man that gave her the room number and told her to investigate, he comes in to like rescue her and help, and then the dude like throws him aside. And I must have missed it, dude. I gotta rewind it, but it legitimately looked like the guy throwing him over in that corner killed him. Maybe he stuck him with a knife. Maybe something. Maybe I missed it. It's very possible. When I was looking, I was like, wait, what did I miss? How was that guy dead? And then the doctor, her boyfriend or husband or whatever, comes in and he hits this dude with a crowbar like 40 times in this movie. And it's like, dude, it's not working. Get something else. You're a doctor, you know fucking anatomy. So, whatever. And then the killer in this looks really cool. I did like that. We don't see him enough, but that's okay. I'm fine with less is more in that regard. You know what he kind of reminded me of was Arnold. Well, I'm sorry, Lee. I was gonna say the sequels, Arnold Vosloo, but it's actually Liam Neeson is Darkman, the Sam Raimi film. He had those bandages over, and then he's got like the burnt up face underneath, or the deformed face underneath. So kind of looked like a little bit of Darkman for a moment. But I did like the look of the killer. I thought it was pretty good. And this story is clearly inspired by H.H. Holmes, the serial killer around the Chicago's Fair, wasn't it? In the late 1800s, where he like lived in the walls and freaking had a secret entrance to rooms and like a kill room where you could like drop the bodies down into. It's like the most fascinating killer of all time. And we've yet to make a proper film on the guy. I know that Martin Scorsese was going to make that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. I think it's called like The Devil in the White City or something like that. And it was going to focus on DiCaprio being H.H. Holmes. And that is a film that needs to exist. Please, please make that. I want that to happen so, so bad. Even though Leo's a little old for the role, I don't care. He's amazing. And I would love to see that. But that reminds me of this, where there's some like apartment complex of sorts. Hotel could be very similar. And he's like, he's like living in an area in the hotel where like no one knows he's in there, and he's walking around killing people. It does seem interesting to me that he seems to just wait to kill up until Bettis moves in. I know there's like a bunch of bodies down there, but I guess she uncovers it. Maybe everybody else just was never really paid attention, so people just kept disappearing and no one noticed. But you would think people would start to notice when 100 people went missing from an apartment complex in a very short amount of time. But whatever. And the explanation of like who this guy is and why he's doing it is just so quick and so shot over. But at the same time, it's kind of a little refreshing because I didn't need it to be one of these characters and then they had some big elaborate reason and they were going to explain it for 10 minutes and reveal that they were actually wearing a skin mask. It's actually the husband or something convoluted and idiotic like that. But yeah. And then this fucking dude is shot with a shotgun out a window, falls like 3 stories with a rope tied around his neck, or an extension cord or whatever the hell it is, and he freaking rips at his neck, and it should have broke his neck. If you're falling that far with something around your neck, you're going to die. But he hits, and he's at the bottom, and then he's swinging around, and then the cops come out and they look, and he's gone. Obviously an homage to John Carpenter's Halloween. But I was laughing in my head because I was just sitting there thinking, he's probably just like, look down. He's probably just there. He's probably just on the ground dead. Probably just snapped his neck so bad his head fell off, and it's just they're laying in 2 different places. Like, there's no chance he survived that. There's just no fucking chance. that anyone could survive such a thing. But it was just funny when I saw them look down and it only shows the rope hanging from like 10 feet up. There's no way I'm doing Monster Monday tonight. I'm just way fucking too tired, which is such a shame because I just don't have time to do it otherwise. Oh well, whatever. But yeah, I just was laughing because he's just totally would have been there just laying on the ground below the rope. But like the way they frame it, it's like, oh my god, he's still out there. And he's like down there like, no, I'm not. I'm dying. I'm not going to make it. Roll credits. But they do make a sequel. So whether or not this sequel has anything to do with this one, any connection at all, I don't think there's any returning cast members or characters. Or I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I'd have to watch it. And after this one, I'm not really looking forward to it. So anyways, yeah, not a fan of this one. So that doesn't mean that I'm not pleased with all the movies that you sent me. Yeah, Mo, I appreciate them. But you know me. If I don't like it, I ain't going to fake it. So there you go. Adios.